Your latest news update from Western Mass News.
I'm Matt Titilli, and here's your latest news update from Western Mass News. Yesterday, Springfield police shared the results of an 8-day crackdown in a neighborhood where a double homicide occurred and gunshots were fired at police last week. Multiple police agencies were part of the sweep that focused on Union, School, and High Streets. In just 8 days, police recovered 14 illegal firearms, 3 of them ghost guns, and more than 1,000 grams of fentanyl. 44 people were arrested. Springfield police arresting several teenagers in connection with racing stolen cars, including 2 sets of arrests early Thursday morning. Police spotted 4 Hyundais traveling over 90 miles per hour on Boston Road and crossing the double yellow line multiple times, leading to the arrest of 2 teenagers, ages 14 and 15. Officials say the 15-year-old has been arrested several times on similar charges. Springfield Police Superintendent Cheryl Clapprood says the thefts stem from an online challenge that shows people how to steal Hyundais and Kias. A family in Belchertown is raising suicide prevention awareness after their son Aaron took his own life nearly 4 years ago. This year's Pinewood Derby, the second annual Aaron's Race, took on special meaning, with people supporting the Twinning family in their effort to raise suicide prevention awareness in honor of Aaron Twinning.
I'm First Alert meteorologist Don Maher. Threat for showers and downpours will continue as we head through the evening hours as temperatures begin to fall through the 60s and into the 50s. We'll see the shower threat wind on down during the overnight. We will hang on to mostly cloudy skies as overnight lows dip down into the mid-50s. As we wake up tomorrow morning on Father's Day, starting off with some clouds and sunshine. There will be the chance for a spot shower tomorrow afternoon. For a lot of us, though, I think we are going to remain dry. So outdoor plans with Dad, you should be just fine. And I think we'll see a little bit more sunshine as we make our way through the afternoon hours. Temperatures tomorrow getting back into the mid to perhaps upper 70s in some locations. And then we'll see partly cloudy skies Sunday night into Monday. Spot shower chance will be with us right on through the mid part of next week. Temperatures will warm back towards 80 as we head towards Wednesday. And then the first couple of days of summer could be coming in hot with temperatures near 90 for Friday and Saturday.
Stay with Western Mass News on air, online, and on our app throughout the day for breaking news, weather, and exclusive content.